Well, hey everybody, it's Michael Tucker here with Conversion Store. We do marketing automation, and we help companies simplify their marketing technology in order to be able to produce profits for their businesses. I am here in Charlotte, North Carolina, talking to you today about DigiMarCon 2025. This is a local conference, sorry, it's a global conference that is stopping by our fair city of Charlotte, North Carolina, to be able to allow all sorts of different thought leaders in the marketing, in the sales, and the revenue operations and marketing operations space to be able to share their wisdom and their knowledge with different marketers and different sales executives across the country, the Eastern Seaboard, as they fly into Charlotte, and they talk a little bit about some of the different expertise that they have. One of the things that we do with this is we're hosting a panel discussion on day two of this conference, which is, by the way, July 14th and 15th, which is a Monday or Tuesday, and it's at the Westin Hotel that will be in Uptown Charlotte. And so, happy to be able to have you attend. It's been here for 3 years now. And this is the first year that they're actually going to be having a trade show along with the conference. So it's 2 days of jam-packed learning, plus all of the different software companies and service companies and a few hardware companies and other people that are vendors that help marketers with all sorts of different challenges that they have, from the servers and some of the infrastructure that they use, to the software that they use, to some of the strategy that's needed. So one of the things that we're doing here on day two of this conference is we'll be hosting a panel discussion. And I'm really fortunate to be able to be joined by our panel to be able to show some of the highlights around some of the different trends that are happening here in 2025 in the marketing space. And we're just going to introduce you to a few of them right now. If you're able to join us at this DigiMarCon conference just in advance here, feel free to be able to sign up at DigiMarCon NorthCarolina.com, and you can reserve your spot as well for it too. It's a much more affordable conference than sending your people to Las Vegas to something like a Dreamforce or something like that. And it's a great way to be able to teach people that are on your team, or people that you want to be able to grab this knowledge to bring back to your team, about some of the different things that are happening within the marketing ecosystem. We'll just say the keyword artificial intelligence here for 2025, and all sorts of other pieces around that. So without further ado, let me jump into the panelists that'll be in the discussion. That'll be here on July the 14th, and we'll get a little bit of background information about them and what they're bringing to the table. Julie, I want to start off with you. Actually, you were on the panel last year. Thanks for spending a little bit of time to be on the panel again this year. For those of you who weren't here on the panel last year, can you just give a little bit of an intro to yourself? And you're coming at this from the marketing executive, marketing practitioner space. And so what can we look forward to hearing from you for some of the trends for 2025?
Thanks, Michael. So as Michael said, I am a marketing practitioner. I've been marketing for 30 plus years, mostly in the B2B space, a lot of that time with manufacturing, in the manufacturing space. And you can imagine that in 30 years, I've seen a huge amount of change in the industry, from, just from the types of media and the types of strategies, and now obviously AI, all of the technology and everything. So one of the things obviously you'll hear us talk about is AI, but we'll also be talking a little bit about the tech stack and how, as marketers, we can try and keep abreast of what all is happening, and how we can begin to integrate some of this new technology into our existing marketing plans, so that we can just be better marketers. And it's great to have a panel that has it's not just only marketers on this panel, as you'll meet in a couple of minutes. So it's really nice to allow all of us to kind of talk amongst ourselves while we're talking to y'all.
That's great. Thank you again so much for taking some time to be here as well, and for sharing your knowledge with us, and with all the participants that are coming to the conference again this year. Our next panelist is somebody who actually, I think he and I are amongst a very few group of people who've actually been to all 3 years of the DigiMarCon conference that's been here in Charlotte. And so really happy that, speaks to the value of coming back year over year. And, you might be participating as an attendee in the event this year if you, the person who's listening to this or watching this video might be in the audience, but then you might also be up on stage in DigiMarCon 2026 or 2027. So anything's possible. But Brian Hare, thanks again for being able to attend again this year. And then you are also, in addition to being on the panel this year, you're also bringing your company to the Texpo, to the trade show version of this, and you've got a colleague that's coming with you as well. Tell me a little bit about what you do and
Yep.
what Norix does, and as a vendor in this space, what you're bringing to the panel discussion this year.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michael. Yes, I am Brian Hare. I am the Principal Solutions Architect at Norix. Norix is a SaaS company, and our platform is focused on consolidating paid media efforts within your advertising across the digital landscape. We bring everything together across search, social, and programmatic to ensure that you're looking at campaigns as a full digital campaign versus the siloed campaigns. And yes, like Michael said, we will be there with a booth. So if you are planning to join, definitely stop by, say hello to myself or my colleague, Jason. We are happy to speak about anything and everything related to MarTech, ad tech in today's day and age. And yes, I think I have I'm very lucky that I've been working with a large, diverse amount of clients for quite a long time across a few different ad tech spaces. So I have really seen the progression of the modern marketer buyer and what they're looking for, what they were looking for, what they will be looking for tomorrow. So I'm excited to really speak to the differences between 2024 and 2025, as well as make some predictions, what will happen between 25 and 26. But yes, like Michael said, DigiMarCon Charlotte is a phenomenal conference, and it is something that you really get to rub elbows with some of the leaders within the space in this fair city, as well as people coming out across the country. So if you have the opportunity, I will echo absolutely everything Michael said and look to get yourself to the Westin on the 14th and 15th.
That's great. Yeah, thank you so much, Brian. Really appreciate that as well too. And one of the really great things too about this conference, so it's a regional conference. There's DigiMarCons in all areas of the world. There's I think DigiMarCon Singapore was a couple of weeks ago. They did one in New York and Philadelphia. They have them in LA. They're all over the place. In our Charlotte one, the interesting thing about Charlotte is we're sort of a regional hub, right? American Airlines flies all over the world and stops here in Charlotte with a regional hub. And so we're lucky to be able to have people that come to this conference from all over the place. So while Brian and Julie are local here to Charlotte, and some of the rich, we have a huge fintech space, we have a huge finance space, but we also have people that come to this conference. Brian, thinking over the years, we've had people from Miami, from Chicago, from all sorts of different places around the Eastern Seaboard, at least, and beyond that. And so, our next panelist, Allison Collins, is actually joining us as well. Allison, you're in Boston, but you're from Active Campaign, who they're partners with us here at Conversion Store. We are actively promoting Active Campaign because of its feature-rich approach to be able to bring marketing automation to all sorts of different types of companies, and really open up a lot of potential for businesses that might not be able to go through some of the massive enterprise platforms and some of the high costs that are associated with that. But so glad that you're able to come in here and fly in from Boston to be able to participate in this conference. So thank you for that. Tell us a little bit about Active Campaign. Tell us a little bit about what you do at Active Campaign.
Yeah, of course. We are a proud Chicago-based business. I work remotely in Boston, but I'm often at headquarters in Chicago at Active Campaign. I've been in SaaS for 9 years, working at various different marketing automation platforms. Always really been in selling to marketers. So my whole thing is to understand how your day-to-day is and how that's running, and then how we can employ strategies together using AI. So within ActiveCampaign, we've really supercharged our platform to include all sorts of different AI sprinkled all throughout the platform at this point. It's really exciting how we've innovated thus far. Our whole platform is all about how can we help marketers and business owners drive better campaign performance, analyze behavior better, make more informed decisions, create a more frictionless customer journey that really can be personalized at scale. So there's a ton of different businesses out there using ActiveCampaign. There's 180,000 globally. My role is focused on working on agencies, working with direct clients that can be ranging from small business all the way into the enterprise. I will be at a booth. I'm bringing a colleague, Ben, who's also master class with Michael. So stop by the booth. We're really excited, and we're happy to meet everyone. And it's my first time in Charlotte, so I'm excited to.
That's great. Yeah, that's a great segue too, really, when you think about it. So the conference is 2 days. We really spend the business hours in both of those 2 days, going through a lot of these sessions. Ben and I are going to talk at a different session a little bit in a recording that'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing with this master class on marketing automation. The evenings, to just talk a little bit about Charlotte, this hotel where we host this conference in is really in the heart of downtown Charlotte, or uptown is what we call it here. But you're literally across the street from the convention center. You're literally across the street from the NASCAR Hall of Fame. There's a really great sense of restaurants, and Brian and I could probably talk to some of the different restaurants that we were at that first year and the second year. Being able to kind of get together and really collaborate and talk to a lot of people. So unlike being in some of these giant mega conventions that you might see in Las Vegas, one thing that somebody mentioned about ActiveCampaign, about the conferences that we're seeing at DigiMarCon, is that when people come off stage, you're usually sitting with them. You get a chance to interact with them directly too. So be ready to be able to book some time into your evenings to be able to kind of socialize and grab some dinner and then enjoy some of the conversations with some of the different people that are attending, that are learning, and their expertise, as well as the people that are on stage or on this panel. Brian, what was your experience like in that first year doing dinner, and in the second year, and maybe talk a little bit about some of the different networking opportunities that were there too?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's Michael's absolutely right, where there's plenty of people that I've spoken to only at DigiMarCon, well, at least in the lead up, that I now speak to on a regular basis outside of the conference, whether it is phone calls, LinkedIn, messaging, all things like that. So that it would really, I've been impressed with, especially as I've done networking within this conference, is just how diverse the people who are coming in, and what they know and who they know and what they've learned, all those kind of things, and Michael had mentioned it, where they're coming across the country. I think the year one we had a individual who came in from North Dakota even. So yeah, so it's you're just going to come across so many different people from so many different walks of life, and the fact that they'll have diverse professional experience that you can learn from is just a nice little cherry on top. So definitely take advantage and speak to and befriend as many people as you can. And as groups start heading out into the Charlotte night, they're going to be more than happy to let you tag along. So don't hesitate to ask. And hey, if you see me, I'm also happy to do so. So feel free. And looking forward to continuing that opportunity to network with individuals who just think about their professional life so similar to I.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, actually, so speaking of professional development, so Julie, I'd love to ask you with this, especially as a a marketing leader in the corporate side of things, on the client side of things, right? Is for the people that are watching this that have their own marketing teams that are client side, or maybe they don't, but they realize, okay, I need to bring back knowledge as the sole marketing practitioner or the marketing practitioner with a team of people. What's the best tips? I think I might have mentioned this to you at one point privately, but had a colleague when we were at Adobe Summit that would bring a whole bunch of people from Amazon, and they would each go to a different session and have one Google Doc open and be able to share notes. How do you do you do something similar to that, or what sort of tips have you seen from people that are should come to this conference, and how they could get the most out of it?
I think everybody should be, expecting to learn something, or at least kind of tickle your brain a little bit so that you can go on and explore more. It used to be back in the day, make sure you bring your business cards now, or, so that you can swap business cards. I now have a digital business card, and I can just scan, have somebody scan my digital business card, and their contact information goes into my phone, and it's really easy to hook up with them on LinkedIn. And so one of the things is, be open to continuing those conversations after the fact. One of the folks that I met at the conference last year was actually one of our co-panelists, and she and we get together on a fairly regular basis now, and we just kind of commiserate about what's happening, not just with marketing and technology, but even with employees, and how are you handling some of this stuff? Because we do tend to kind of be siloed in our offices, and it can be difficult to make some time to kind of reach out to other people. So, like Michael said, if you're bringing more than one person from your organization, divide and conquer. Don't go to every, don't travel in a pack and all of you go to the exact same thing. Be prepared to bring information into your own organization, and be really open to sharing information with other people. And I think that's probably the biggest thing is, and I think Allison has pointed it out before on conversations we've had is, talk to people. Don't just sit there waiting for them to talk to you. I don't care how introverted you are. Sometimes you just got to, make the first move and say, so what brings you here? Or, where are you from? And all of that.
That's a really interesting point. Yeah, Allison, just kind of throwing it to you for a second here. We had a really interesting conversation with 10X Consulting, who's going to be exhibiting at the trade show this year and this morning. And they were telling us in their session that they deal with a lot of different companies as they're building up the infrastructure for their different sales teams and trying to. It's a digital marketing conference in the name of it, but really at the end of the day, we're trying to build up respective relationships and brand identity, and kind of getting that awareness, interest, desire, action down the sales journey, which I think you alluded to in your opening session here. But as somebody who's been in sales and SaaS and key account management, and now in partner relations for a long time, right? Does that change in terms of the approach that you are seeing in terms of your relationship with marketing, and kind of what you want to see from marketing? And I know we talked a little bit about, kind of keeping the records clean in the CRM, and kind of reporting and all that jazz, right? Like what does that look like this year from you and your interactions with your marketing department and the marketers that you're working with at ActiveCampaign?
Yeah, so I feel like I am really grateful to have such innovative marketers that are constantly trying to show us ways that we can add AI into our day-to-day. At ActiveCampaign, we have all sorts of different internal trainings on how to leverage AI, what other reps are doing. How I'm interacting with marketers, honestly, I learned a lot from Julie the other day about how she's keeping her CRM clean. So that might be a plug for the panel too. I'm not really known for being the most CRM up-to-date person. It's one of my goals to be better, I think, with AI connecting with our CRM, which it does. I'm going to be way better because I can say, hey, Claude AI, which is my go-to AI tool, create this contact in ActiveCampaign, and it'll do it for me. So if I'm on a sales call and they refer me to someone, I can just tell Claude to put it into ActiveCampaign. So using tools like that, and my marketers are amazing. They're constantly telling us different tips and tricks as well. I learned the other day how to create a list, a prospecting list with like very specific criteria from one of our tech partnerships people. Like it just, there's so much and it's so rapidly changing. It's hard to keep track of, but we're going to do our best as a panel to talk through all these things.
Yeah, I think one of the great things too about this panel discussion is it's not just us talking. You, the audience member, you guys get to ask us questions as well too, and we get the ability to be able to kind of interact with you. So we've specifically built this out. We have some interesting points and insights because we all come from different aspects of the marketing ecosystem, right? And I can tell you, as a consultant working with all these different companies, Allison and I tag team with a bunch of them, and we get to see them from different aspects, right? But I love being able to drill into some of the business requirements and tell me about your business. And everybody has a unique story about how their business operates and the environment that they operate within and what that means for what they have to construct in their marketing tech stack that Julia was mentioning, and why they chose to do it this way versus that way, why they choose to do the CRM, why they choose to use the sales and engagement feature of ActiveCampaign to be able to kind of help with their go-to-market instance versus a custom object versus this webinar platform or another one. So come to our session, be ready with your own set of questions, because we're here to be able to interact, and we come to it from our experiences, but our experiences aren't necessarily always there's no one universal right or wrong when it comes to the marketing. And you hear that it depends a lot. So you come with your ideas, and there'll be different people at the table that will come as well too. But this is a great spot for you to be able to interact with people in a very open environment that has some structure to it, but also has quite a bit of freedom to it as well too. If you're interested in attending, again, it'll be DigiMarCon 2025. It's the 14th and 15th of July in 2025. You can register for it a couple of different spots, basically. But if you come to DigiMarCon North Carolina is a URL that'll take you directly to the spot. It will be at the Westin. And it'll be on the 14th and the 15th in Uptown Charlotte. So we're looking forward to being able to see you there. Of course, you can always see my website at conversionstore.com or our community of digital marketers. And so you'll be able to meet different people that are also in marketing, or they're looking to build their careers in marketing at all levels. If you're the most senior of executives, or if you're brand new to the marketing community and just at the start of your marketing career, this is a great place for you as well too. So everybody's welcome, and it's a great place to be able to join. Any last words from anybody in the panel before we dive off and get back to work?
You'll have a guaranteed blast. Guaranteed black hair.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you again so much, and we're looking forward to being able to see you there for DigiMarCon 2025. Take a leap of faith 'cause you won't miss. Work of the